all for coming out so early. I know this is the first panel of the day.
He directs and writes short films, and he's actually got a book coming out this year. Maybe he can tell you a little bit about that.
Let's get straight to it. Let's bring them out. Let's bring out Lilly, Singh, Lindsey, Pansino, and Cassey.
Hey. How y'all feeling? It's early, but make some noise. Come on.
Lindsey, are you out there?
Whoa! What's up? Woo!
Is Rosanna out there? Yeah. Cassey, how are you out there? Where's that kid? All right. Okay, two here, I think. Is how we're
Can we all force it on one? Fine.
They're so far away.
You're so far.
So far. It's like the colors and the black and white.
Oh my God.
Themed.
I love it.
Good morning, everybody. Thanks again for coming. Guys, we're the first panel of the day.
Oh my.
Wow, kicking it off.
No pressure.
Good morning.
Yes. Good morning.
You guys all woke up to come here today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Give yourself a round of applause.
You earned a round for that.
Big round of applause.
We're off to a good start with the girl and boy love. We're already applauding for ourselves this morning.
No, for no reason.
Well, welcome. If you guys don't know, this is the Girl Love panel on YouTube, and Girl Love is a social good initiative that was launched by Lilly and supported by these lovely ladies.
I love you too, baby.
And if you don't know me, my name is Sarah Weichel. I manage a handful of YouTube talent, including Lilly. So that's how I got here. Lilly, do you want to lead and just say a little bit about Girl Love and why you wanted to launch the program?
Yeah, sure. So I'm sure these ladies will attest to the fact that I'm super passionate about Girl Love. I think it's so important for women to support one another and not necessarily always be so hostile and compete against each other. And I think I learned this when I first started YouTube, and I became friends with so many amazing people. But sometimes in YouTube comments and sometimes on social media, you see like so-and-so hate each other or so-and-so's prettier than so-and-so. And I'm just like, but we're friends. And so I really wanted to just make it cool to compliment other women because I do believe we're all in this together. So that's what I love about Girl Love. Woo!
Woo, woo. I mean, obviously, you guys are all very high-profile female creators at this point, though I don't know that it really necessarily matters whether or not you're female or male. It's more just about like anti-bullying, I think, for all of these women up here. But since you guys all are so high-profile, can you give us an example, maybe, of a maybe positive comment that helped like strengthen your bond with either your community or with like another creator, like something that you can recall as like one of the first other creators out there that reached out to you in a way that was like, oh, that's really like kind. Like maybe we're gonna be like real life friends instead of just like creator friends. Do you have someone that comes to mind?
Well, I remember the first time I met Rosanna. We were at Ingrid's party, right? Yeah. And then we just really hit it off. And then I was surprised that afterwards, you know, exchanged numbers, and you actually texted me, and I actually texted you back.
She couldn't get me to stop texting
And she kept texting pictures of her dog, of like new stuff. I was like, okay, I think we're actually friends.
Yeah,
and
I was like, we're friends now.
And I think that's
you
so
gave me your number, so that's the green light.
Yeah, totally. And then because we're friends, then we collab, and it's like totally so much more easy because it's not just like, oh, we're gonna collab for numbers or gains or subscribers. It's really because we like each other, and I want to introduce you to my YouTube family. And yeah, so thank you for being my first YouTube friend in LA.
Cassey, that is so sweet.
We're so cute, it's disgusting. We're disgusting.
Oh yeah.
How cute we are.
Our lady squad is growing, and we are disgusting. It's a lot of love, a lot of support. I think for me, growing up, I played a lot of female team sports. I was on an all-girl soccer team, an all-girl gymnastic team, and that impacted me, I think, forever. I think that I was just used to this sisterhood and supporting each other, and I think team sports instilled that in me when I was really little. And when I started creating content on YouTube, I think I naturally gravitated towards other women who felt the same, like other women who wanted to love and support each other and there's a lot of women on YouTube who feel the same way. These ladies included, and I think one of the first women to reach out to me on YouTube to collaborate was Ingrid. She was so sweet, open, and inviting, and she asked if I wanted to do this collaboration video. She actually wasn't in the video, she was producing it.
Oh, okay.
And I think we hit it off. I love her, so.
Is this secretly just an Ingrid seance? That's happening?
It's like, Ingrid, I love you. And she invited me to the opening hangout.
Right,
That's where we met.
Lots of donuts. Lots.
Yes.
It's interesting that you bring up sports, though, Ro. I didn't know that about you, but I do know that Lilly came from a dance community. And I never really made
I think Lindsey and I both kind of came from music, dance-ish. I don't know, Lindsey
Yes.
dances better than me, so I'm just assuming.
No.
I've seen you in the club, girl.
Oh, this is our get-together on stage. Sorry, go ahead, Swike.
No, I was just going to say, do you find that maybe that's why you feel so obligated to help spread this message? Is it that bond that you developed really early on in life that you wanted to help perpetuate, or is it really something that came out of a cyberbullying community that you wanted to fix?
Yes and no. I think that definitely plays a role because, when you're a dancer, you learn to, this group choreography, you learn how to work with people, you kind of become a family. But I think it was more so when I first started YouTube, it was scary. When I went to my first ever VidCon or playlist, I had no friends. I was literally in my hotel room eating Cliff Bars, okay, Snapchat this, I guess. I had no friends, and I know how scary that is. And so I really do feel it's important, especially with what we do, to have real friends because so much of what we do is, hey, let's collaborate. Hey, I'm sitting here with Lindsey. Oh my God, it's so good to see you, Lindsey.
We're friends.
Oh my God, and there's nothing wrong with that, but when the camera's off, I really felt the need to be hey, do you guys want to go for lunch? To be real people as well, and so I think that's what really inspired this.
Well, and I think a lot of jobs, you have coworkers, and I've heard a lot of YouTubers describe the life of a social media artist as being sometimes lonely. A lot of times you have this kind of career on your own, and you've built it, and especially all of us started in our bedroom making videos by ourselves, and traveling and doing shows by ourselves. And I remember at one point thinking, this is a very lonely lifestyle. And I didn't know how long I could go on doing this. And I grew up with all sisters, and very much so, kind of like you were saying, Rosanna, I just always had a lot of girlfriends and grew up, and so I needed that. And it's been amazing having this kind of sisterhood that we've created here because we gravitated to each other because we have similar values and we have things that we stand for, things like girl love, and we want to support each other in our dreams. And it turned it from being kind of a lonely career into being I feel understood by the women around me, and that is so important. Women need friendship from other women. It's actually been proven it's beneficial to health to have female connections for women. And so I just think that's really interesting, and it's really cool. We have this group text that is constantly going between there's 5 or 6 of us on it.
Which, by the way, Justine is missing.
We're missing
Justine, we love you. She's traveling right now. I joked that I would try to Skype her in, but I don't think she gets Wi-Fi where she is.
No, it's very hard for her
The
right
connection wouldn't stick. I was going to hold her up right here and be like, she's here.
now. Wouldn't it be cool if she was right
I
there?
know.
Oh, we could have a
Bigger than
big
all of us?
Justine. But we do have this group text. It's us plus Justine, and we're always kind of we'll take a screen grab of someone's Instagram, be like, girl, you look good. And it's just kind of this on-flowing, constant stream of positivity. And whenever I see that group text pop up in my phone, it's I get excited to hear what my girls say.
That and you find a charger because your phone is dying.
I was going to start a petition to join this group thread. I would also
And actually, on that note, I think it's important, although we kind of have this sisterhood of 5 girls, I think it's important to mention that we're super inclusive. We don't want to make it we're 5 friends and you can't sit with us. No, you can very much so sit with us.
We love more friends.
I think it's very important. I mean, there's so many times that many of us have been hey, I want to introduce a new girl to our squad kind of thing, and whether it's Lord DIY or someone else, I'm they're really positive and cool, and so we're totally about just having a sisterhood with a whole bunch of girls. It's not a secret club or group or anything. We're just down to support all
I think
women.
it would be awesome if our squad grew to a couple hundred.
Yeah. And all of you included, I think.
It's true. Yeah. Well, it's funny that it did just start out very organically. It was just, a couple of us were friends. We started a little group message, and then, hey, we should do a collab with so-and-so. She's awesome. And it's not like an exclusive group. It's growing, and it continues to grow. And it's a sisterhood. It's awesome.
So the moral of the story is you're going to get Lindsey's phone number at the end of this.
I was gonna say, so I'm in, or what is going on? No, but I was actually gonna say, seriously, like, I do feel a part of your guys' group, a world though, because you are so social about it, and you do share so much of your personal lives with your communities and your audiences. So I think that's also really great and makes us feel connected as well, even though we aren't connected via text message. But something that I wanted to bring up is sometimes it's hard to have healthy relationships with females. Is there like, what did I write down? I don't want to word this incorrectly. But basically, like, what are some things that prohibit healthy relationships between females, do you think?
So I think the main thing for a lot of females is jealousy. And I think it's because you don't respect each other enough to actually be happy for someone. And I think that's really sad because it stems from insecurity. And I think people need to be able to look inside themselves, work on what they're good at, and then be happy for others when you see them succeed. And I can say that when I see you guys just killing it on stage or whatever you're doing, like, I inside am cheering for you and outwardly as well. But there's so many people out there who really like want to see you fail because sometimes they feel like by stepping on you, they get higher. And I think that's just so messed up. For us, I just want to see us get bigger and, you know, become more successful. And that makes me a lot happier. So yeah, guys, don't be jealous of each other. Just work on yourselves and cheer on your friends.
Good for you, Cassey.
I think that's so awesome. And I think, going off what you said, I always believe in like the idea of getting better, not bitter, when you see someone being successful. And I think another thing that prohibits healthy relationships is, I'm gonna just be real here, we do live in a society that pits women against each other. I mean, there's so many times when I read YouTube comments like, I'll be watching a Nicki Minaj music video and all the comments are about, what, you think you're as good as like X rapper, or you think you're as good as so-and-so? And I feel like they start comparing their bodies and how they look, and it's very rarely about the rapping or the music. And I feel like that's kind of naturally the way society has progressed. It's, let's make women compete against each other. Let's make them catty. And so we have to proactively think about that and take steps to go the opposite way. Like, I don't care if I'm supposed to compete with Lindsey because we have to have a number of subscribers or anything, but like, I'm gonna support Lindsey. Like, that's my decision to proactively fight against that. So I think that's really important too.
Absolutely.
Going off that though, Lily, what are some musts in female relationships? Like, what are some like must-do to have healthy female relationships? Or even like, let's take the female out of it. Just have like healthy relationships. Like, what do you guys? How do you guys stay such good friends? You're all busy. You all have your own lives going on. Like, you have your own agenda. It's difficult to prioritize other people when your job is to further your own career, or when your job is to further your own, like, you know, when you're at school and you have to focus on your homework or whatever you guys are doing out there too. It's difficult to prioritize other people and make time for them. So like, what do you guys think are some must-dos in friendships?
I think a really good start is it's important for your friends and you to have the same priorities and the same values. I know Lindsey touched on this earlier, but one thing all of us have in common is I don't think any of the women sitting on stage will ever say anything bad about another woman. And that's why I get along with them really well, because we all share that same value, we all share that same positivity. If you can't value other people and other people's friendships, there's no way you'll be able to value the people in your friendships. So I think that's a good start. But you guys?
I also think with any relationship, whether it's with your boyfriend or girlfriend or whoever, your relationship should make both of you better people. And if it's not there, yeah, girl, then if you have negative people in your life, you literally need to delete them out of your life. If it's on social media, unfollow them. If you're finding that you're hanging out with someone and they're literally draining you, then you don't need to be in that relationship. And when we hang out, I just feel so inspired and like peppy, energized. I know every time we see each other, we're like, because there's just no other way to react.
I like that.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys kind of a tricky question that as a manager I would maybe advise you not to answer, but I think we're gonna get to the hard-hitting stuff this morning. The pay gap in Hollywood. I'm curious, have you felt the effect of that, or have you experienced firsthand gender income inequality?
Sorry, we couldn't hear it, so we're telling each other what he's
I'm so sorry, I couldn't hear you.
You couldn't hear?
I got an ear infection on my flight back from France, and I'm like deaf in this
The
ear.
question was, this is why I love Ro. There's just like all the details. I love it.
I'm super honest.
The question was about the pay gap. If we've ever experienced anything related to like the Hollywood pay gap.
No. For me, no. I have an agent, and I am blessed and fortunate that I am in the position where I have an agent. And having an agent allows you, well, my agent knows what kind of contracts are on the table, who's getting what, and he's making sure that it is equal. And I will not accept anything less. So if you're in the position where you have an agent, they have access and insider knowledge into what contracts are out there, who is getting paid what kind of contracts are happening, and it is up to you, the creator, whether you're male or female, to determine your value. And I have turned down multiple contracts, integrations, projects that don't value me. So I have set my own value.
Woo! Dang!
Girl.
That's right, girl. Dang.
And there's plenty of people that I do work with and that we see the value. Okay. You guys.
And do you guys feel like because you are your own business owner, you have more flexibility in choosing what it is that you do and don't want to participate in, and therefore you can create more of your own career in that regard?
Absolutely, and I think by examples like Ro and not accepting less, we're trying to set the bar, because there is a huge problem, maybe not so much as, someone who owns, when there's a business owner or an artist and you have an agent. That's not the case for most people. And so I think by setting the bar individually, that's what makes a change. And I also think that's a huge contributing factor to why women are so competitive, is because of this huge pay gap and the fact that there aren't as many, it's perceived that there aren't as many positions for women, almost like there's not enough room for all the women in the industry, whether it's entertainment or whether it's work. And so women sometimes turn against each other very competitively, as if like, well, then I have to outdo the other women. I have to be the toughest, the strongest.
Sure.
But the fact is that it's the opposite. If that's the game that's being played, we need to support each other. We need to lift up other women rather than competing with them and trying to make sure that we're the one that gets the spot. No. Get yourself to a spot so that you can lift others to the same spot and make a difference.
Right, and I didn't want to, Lindsey, yes.
Love it.
And I didn't want to give any falsehood and say that it's easy to be in the position where I am now. When I first started YouTube, I was completely broke for 4 years, and I did turn down a ton of contracts, a ton of opportunities that when I was reading them, I said, I'm worth more than this. This should not be the norm, because I was comparing it to other contracts. I had friends who were very open and honest with me, and they said, Ro, that's really undervaluing you. You shouldn't do that. But it is hard to make those decisions, to stick to your principles when you're broke. And when I first started making videos on YouTube, I didn't have 1 cent to my name. I was sleeping in my car, working on sets for 16 hours a day, saving every penny that I was making to put into my channel. And finally I got to a place where I was living on someone's couch full time, and then it just started to build from there. But I don't want to make it sound like it was easy. For 4 years it was a true struggle to set my own value.
And I think even to add on to that, in terms of like, yeah, Ro, woo! If we're talking about girl love, if we're talking about specifically being a woman on YouTube, and in terms of how there's a pay gap in Hollywood, and if that pay gap exists on the internet, the great thing about YouTube is that the creators have a lot more control. There's no director, casting director, anyone monitoring the upload button. So we're in this very powerful, unique position where we can make a lot of changes. I mean, just the other day I saw on YouTube's homepage, there's this women category, and I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, it's highlighting so many women creators. That's really great. But I think that's what I really love about Girl Love, is that literally all of you in this room, because of social media and because of how many people you can connect with, your ideas can literally change the world. Like, if you change your behavior, you can change the world. So when you're watching us up here talking about Girl Love, it actually involves every single one of you, because you all have Twitter, you all have Instagram, you all have Facebook, you all have a voice, and no one is going to stop you from talking about what you want to talk about. So talk about Girl Love.
Yeah. Woo.
speaking of talking about girl love, actually, we're going to open this up for questions, and the way that we're going to find questions is by searching the hashtag girl love on Twitter. So if you have any questions for these lovely ladies, submit your questions now, and we'll check them in a couple of minutes.
Taking a selfie is not a question. So we can't jump over these fences and stuff. So like,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. So
no selfies.
yeah, I think all of us would really love like some really, ask us anything, like some really deep, raw, serious
Real stuff.
The real stuff. I mean, this is not like a cute YouTube video where it's gonna be like, would you want boobs for feet or feet for boobs? Like, ask us some hard-hitting questions here. We'll answer them. I mean, I think
question?
You don't get the boob question. I get the boob question all the
I've
time.
never heard that. I've never gotten that.
I know, yeah. Obviously, I'd want boobs for feet, right? Well, I'd bounce around all day. I'd be a kangaroo. It'd be amazing.
What about
Okay.
for boobs? I don't know.
Okay. We're derailing. Come on.
I'm so sorry. We like haven't
Serious
seen each other in a few weeks, and we're just like wanting.
It's true.
You're so far away.
Okay. So as creators who have your own voice and have your own platform and can create whatever it is that you want to create for an audience that you want to cater to, what kind of content do you want to create for them? And also, do you feel social responsibility to create a certain type of content? And does that ever prohibit you from creating what you want to create?
I think the cool thing, well, I think the most important thing about being a creator on YouTube, of course, everybody hears it over and over again, is about authenticity. And I think that's why we've all gravitated towards each other, not only as like, I'm gonna like her video and I'm gonna support her, but you know, we became friends and reached out to each other because of content that we created, but we've stayed friends because of our true values. And so, I mean, I think all of us can say that the content we create, it's not because we feel pressured to create those kind of videos or share those kind of ideas. It's because we are truly passionate about it. Like this Girl Love project that Lily's been working on, she's put so much time and energy into it, not because she feels like socially obligated to, but because she's passionate about it and she loves it. And I think all of the things that we try to share that are positive, they all really do come from like what we love and what we want to be. And I loved what you said about each one of you are the ones that are going to make the change. And yeah, we may have a lot of people listening to our voice, but we can't connect with your friends. We can't make the girl next door feel like she's special. You know, it is so much more important for you guys to take the messages that you think are important and implement them to the people in your sphere of influence. And that's the only way change actually happens.
That's amazing. I actually want to add something that's kind of random, but it was what you said sparked this idea. I think one of the challenging things about girl love, because some real talk, like if you've ever had a negative thought about another girl, raise your hand. Like honestly, raise your hand. I think all of us can raise our hand. And I think the idea about girl love is not about not having that feeling. Realistically,